All right. Welcome to the growth plan. I'm in my car only because it is an absolute freezer inside of my camper and I could not take it any longer. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this video while my nose feels like it's frozen solid into an icicle. And if I were not doing a video right now, I would have my entire body, including my head, under a cover because it's so cold in there. So I'm like, I'm going outside. I'm going to the car. And, just like the warm, cozy feeling of a car. So I love it. Um, okay, so I don't know who all's going to be able to hop on when. This is my first time doing the growth plan online. It worked like amazing in person whenever we did it for 5 weeks in the month of June. And so many women had so much growth and so many testimonies and so much to share from that time. And I knew it needed to be longer. I knew it needed 8 weeks in order for the goals and the growth and the implementation of the tactics to get traction and to really get going and for people to see actual change in their life. I knew it needed 8 weeks. So I thought, okay, we'll try the growth plan 8 weeks. My initial idea was to break us up into small groups of 4. That way we could say, okay, we have this group of 4 and this group of 4 and this group of 4, and they're all going to be their growth group partners for the entire 8 weeks. They can text each other, hop on these live meetings together with there being 4 meetings. Like that was my vision, and I don't know if it's timing right now. I don't know if everybody's just too busy to commit. I don't know what it is, and it's okay. It's okay. We'll see. We'll see it through on this round differently than what I had envisioned. Because I feel like everybody was having trouble committing to a time frame, and I didn't want that to scare anybody off. So I loosened the rules and I said, we'll do an AM session and a PM session, and you just hop on whichever session works for you that week. So if this week the PM session works for you, but in 2 weeks it doesn't work for you and you need to hop on the AM session, you can do that. The point is, we do need people on the sessions to actually see the growth and the accountability in the way that I have planned. So it might not work exactly as I envisioned this time around, but you guys will get a really good idea of it, and we'll see how this works. And then maybe as this community grows and other people want to commit to real growth in their life, maybe we'll look at the beginning of 2026, kicking off a growth plan again, and with more intensity and more accountability, because this plan that I have for you is something that you can do over and over and over again in your life. And it's something that you should do over and over and over again in your life, because we should always be growing. We should never stay stuck. We should every single day intentionally grow in one area or another. And that's what this growth plan is all about, picking 1 to 3 areas to intentionally grow in over the next 8 weeks. And you're going to set some goals for yourself, and you're going to be held accountable to those goals. And you're going to report in on them on these sessions, and that's kind of the point. I don't know where you all are at as far as the growth guide at this moment. I don't know if you've looked it over. I don't know if you've filled it out. If you haven't, that's okay, do it. But if you have, it's going to make tonight so much more impactful because you've already kind of got some of the ideas going into it. But if you haven't, again, it's okay. You can rewatch this later, catch yourself up, whatever. I'm going to kind of just show you some things real quick before I get too deep into what we're doing. I just kind of wanted to give you a good intro of what you can expect over the course of the next 8 weeks and the purpose of this. And I am going to share my screen and go into our online community. All right. So this is the calendar tab, obviously, where you can see where I have the growth plans. So we were supposed to have a 6 a.m. last Friday. Nobody made it to that. That's totally okay. I'm probably going to just reschedule it for this Friday. And so this week is this one's the 7 p.m. And then next week is going to end up being I wish I could just drag that. I'll have to just reschedule it. But this one's going to be the next Friday. I'll do that later. But anyway, so there's going to be a 6 a.m. this coming Friday for those who can get on that. Classroom tab is
And
where
is
you want to
our
go.
book study on Fridays too?
It is. So,
Because
Friday at
I'll
6
still
a.m.
be at work at that time, so will it be
Yeah,
recorded?
it will be recorded. Yes.
Okay,
Yep. It'll
thank
be.
you.
So my sister is doing it this time around, and that is just the time that works best for her. She's a night shift worker.
That's fine, as
So,
long as it's
yep,
recorded.
it will be recorded. Yep, it'll be recorded. It's going to be a really good one. So that one will
I've
be for
started
September.
reading, yeah.
Oh, good. Good. Yep. So yeah, so this Friday we'll have another 6 a.m. growth group, and that'll be our first AM session technically. And then 1 p.m. will be the book study. It could even be a challenge for me to be on at that time, but we will record it. So, okay, back into here. We're gonna go into the classroom tab, and you could just go down to the growth plan. And so this is just kind of like the welcome. It kind of explains the outline of the course, and it has the growth plan guide workbook that if you have not grabbed already, if you want to print this off and write in it, great. If you just want to use pencil and paper and just write your answers out, that's fine too. But I designed this growth plan when we did it back in June in our women's ministry for 5 weeks. I redesigned it even a little bit since then. I've added to it just some other things that I saw might be needed, and then reordering some things a little bit. So we're going to go through that here in a minute. Next thing is the intro video. I did an intro video that you can watch on YouTube. For some reason, it wouldn't let me embed the video in school. I don't know why. It was being weird. Okay. So, you should be able to watch this intro video. It is 26 minutes long. This kind of gives you an introduction to the growth plan and what things you should focus on. So if you have not watched the intro video for this yet, just go ahead, get that, watch that. And then this is prep work and expectations. So over the course of the next 8 weeks, we're going to commit to 1 to 3 big things. This is a commitment, not just goal setting, but this is a commitment. These are things that you believe can make the biggest difference over the next 8 weeks of your life. And you want to choose different areas that you specifically want to grow in. It could be spiritual growth, it could be relationships, it could be budget, it could be household, it could be a slew of things. Whatever you think would make the biggest difference in your life that you could work on for the next 8 weeks, whether that be one thing or 3 things. Don't pick more than 3 things, okay? Each week, we're going to come on these. Well, we're meeting every 2 weeks, but every time we meet, we're going to come on and we're going to share our wins, share areas of struggle, make sure we're able to share what we are committing to, and we're going to brainstorm tactics for each of those areas that we can actually break down the goals into small, manageable tasks that we can actually complete. And so we're going to commit to those tactics each week, and we're going to, again, attend the bi-weekly groups and come prepared to share based on the meeting outline. So here's our meeting outlines. And this is real simple. We're just going to welcome. We're going to, any brief announcements that need to be made, wins for the week, transition question that we'll have each week, COPI. What that is, it stands for challenges, opportunities, problems, and ideas. So you don't need to say one of each of those. But you need to have a general idea of something that you would like feedback on. And that's the purpose of these growth groups, so that you can get feedback from others that might be able to help you and provide insight into some challenge that you have going on in your life that they might be able to help you come up with a tactic or a solution for. Think about anything in your life that you have been struggling with. And again, we're looking for growth. We're looking for change in our life. We're not going to be perfect at the things that we commit to. You may commit to 6 different tactics over the course of the next 2 weeks to help you grow, and you may only get half of those done. That's okay. It's part of growth. It's okay. And then also, we'll wrap it up with your commitments, your takeaways, and then each person share their commitment for the coming week. So that's kind of the outline. You'll spend some of the time talking about your goals and your commitments and how it's going and questions that you have. And then you'll spend time listening as others give you feedback on there. So this is really important that you not only are sharing, coming up with something to share, but also giving feedback to each other. So we all need to be giving feedback here. And then, so that's all of the meeting outlines. They're kind of all the same, except for each one of these meeting 1, 2, 3, and 4. They each have a different transition question. That's where they're different. And then I did like this introductory paragraph here on that one. But the other ones are the same, except for a different transition question. So if you want to read over this and prepare prior to these meetings so that you know where we're at and what you need to do, that would be just fine. I'm going to stop right here and say, are there any questions?
I don't have any.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go through the growth plan guide. And I'm going to quickly go through this because this is something that you need to do on your own. This is something that, well, first of all, let me just ask, Amber, I know you've done this in the past. Stacy, have you gotten an opportunity to fill any of this out yet at all? I know you just got it.
I haven't, because I had the
Okay,
doctor and stuff, and then I went to see the new
I
baby.
figured.
I have a new grandbaby.
Yay, that's so exciting.
Yes,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Oh, okay, so I'm going to cover this, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time like I did when I taught this live. Because when I taught this live, I had the ladies, I gave them time to fill in each one. And this is something that really you need to be in quiet time. You need to get alone with God and you need to fill these out. And actually, I went through these in the intro video. And I don't want to just repeat for the sake of repeating
I did watch
anything.
the intro.
Okay. And you heard me go through all of these, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to repeat because I told everybody to watch their intro video. So I don't really want to go reading that. Because that just wastes people's time. Let's get into the meat of stuff, okay? In the intro video, I covered morning pages. I covered the first 2 pages of this guide, I believe. 3 pages of this guide. Yeah, morning pages and the first 3 pages of this guide and what the course would look like. Is that what you remember, Stacy?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, so yeah, since I've already covered this in the intro video, I'm not going to go through it again tonight. Again, pray about these things and really think about the answers to each questions and how you would answer them for you. And this is about figuring out what you want. Did we do the... That's on the next page. Okay. Yes. This is where we need to be. Perfect. Okay. I'm back on track. I got confused there for a second. Okay. So this is where I left off on the intro video. Step 2, the assessment. The assessment is what is going to help you determine and help you maybe if you don't know well, what 1 to 3 areas should I grow in the next 8 weeks? If you don't know, this assessment is going to help you identify those areas. So here's what we're going to do. And again, you can do this on your own time, privately, in a quiet space with prayer if you want more time to focus on it. But what we're going to do is we're just going to look for areas that you could grow in. And I want you to honestly rate each area of your life, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, and then make a few notes about why you rated it that way. I put created, and that's a typo. It should be rated. Why you rated it that way, and possible ideas for how you'd like to increase your rating in that area. So the lower rated areas are places that you may identify this is an area I should commit to growing in the next 8 weeks. So we'll just go through these real quick. Spiritual health. Would you give yourself a 1 or a 10 in that? You don't have to answer out loud. You're just thinking on this.
Okay.
I know for me, I feel like the closer I get to the Lord, the more I feel like I don't know. If that makes any sense.
I feel
The
like the
longer,
closer I get, everything bad happens. Yeah, like it's like
oh no. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I look back at the last 10-year journey I have been on in ministry here, and I feel like 10 years ago, 9, 8 years ago, I probably would have rated myself like a 7 or an 8. And today I probably would rate myself as like a 4.
yeah.
Like, 4 has gone down because it's like the more I know how much more I need to know.
I do feel
So,
like I've gotten better in the spiritual health
yeah, good, good.
just since
Okay, so
starting all of this.
yeah, good. That's good. So that's one area. And then look at your mental, emotional health. Where would you rate that? Your physical health. Do you feel like you want to lose weight or gain strength or just work
Yeah.
out more heart rate, things like that? And then relationships. This is a huge one. How would you rate relationships? And some of you might break it down to different areas of relationships that you have. And that's okay to do. So then you might focus on a specific relationship that you want to work on growth in that area. And then your environment. Let's talk about that one. So your physical environment, your home, or maybe it's your working environment, or maybe just any physical environment around you. How would you rate it? So in the last one, we had a lady who one of her areas of growth was cleaning her house. So her physical environment actually needed growth. She needed to clean and organize specific areas of her home. And I mean, she even
I need to do that.
a specific area in a room, like a cabinet, basically. Like that specific. And you can go that specific or you can be more broad. It's up to you. And then recreation. How would you rate recreation in your life? Recreation is so important. It's so powerful. It's something that we need. We need rest and recreation. God created us for that. That recreation literally means to recreate.
That
And
would
when
be
we,
a 0 because since menopause, I have been a homebody.
yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
don't like to go out.
yeah, that's a area that you might want to focus on then. Because so when God created the Sabbath and asked us to keep the Sabbath holy, what he was really saying was he wasn't saying a specific, you know, religious handbook of things that you have to do. He was basically saying, I need you to take a day of rest and recreation where
Yeah.
you renewed. And I mean the word recreate, like it's all about renewal. It's about rest. It's about letting the Lord pour back into you and just shutting off your mind and your work and hearing
Yeah.
from that. So how would you rate that? And then finances, think about that one. And your identity. How would you rate your identity? Do you know who you are in Christ? Do you look for the approval of others?
No, definitely not.
So you just want to give yourself this assessment. Again, you can pray about it, you can think about it, but just rate yourself 1 1 to 10 on that.
Yeah.
And then once you do that, you're going to look at these areas and then you're going to brainstorm. This is all about brainstorming. Based on the first several pages of this handbook, what you said your wants are and what your life value, you're going to start to brainstorm potential areas of growth. And it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be clean. This isn't you committing to a decision. This is just you getting ideas on paper. Nobody's going to see this. Nobody's going to see it. This is you getting your ideas on paper. And that's what this is all about. So you're going to go through that. And then after that, we're going to create action steps. You're going to take your messy brainstorm and you're going to narrow it down to 1 to 3 areas that you want to intentionally grow in. Narrow this down. And then after you do that, what you're going to do is you're going to take action by overcoming your limited thinking and creating new thought patterns that will better serve you on this journey of growth. So you literally need to write down every thought you have about the areas that you want to grow in. If they're limiting beliefs, if they're negative, maybe you have some positive ones. You want to write down every thought so that you can be aware of what might come at you mentally in regards to you intentionally growing. Because anytime somebody sets out on a goal or a plan to do something, what happens is the enemy typically comes in, or doubt, or self, you just put yourself down, or you get in your own head, and a lot of it is the enemy speaking to you and putting those doubts and those lies in your mind that actually will bring you down and hinder your growth, and just for some people stops them dead in their tracks on their goals. So you want to write those things down so that you can be aware of them, acknowledge them. You're bringing them into the light so that they can be dealt with and you can overcome them. And then we're going to create an intentional thought cycle. So you're going to take any negative thought and replace it with a positive thought that will result into a more positive feeling, which will then produce a positive action. I tell you guys all the time, thoughts become things. Thoughts become things. The way you think about yourself will be how you act in your life. So if you are somebody that maybe you have a negative relationship with food, maybe you overeat, maybe you just want to eat junk food all the time like I do, you need to replace that negative thought cycle of, oh my goodness, I just eat so much crap, or oh, am I ever going to lose weight? Like, I just keep packing it on. And whatever the negative thought is, you need to replace it with a positive thought. Like, I'm hopeful that as I learn more about food as fuel, I will make better choices and have more energy day by day. So we're going to replace those negative thought patterns with positive ones, and you're actually going to write them down. And I know that this might sound stupid for some of you, but trust me, thoughts become things, and you're going to repeat these positive thought cycles every time a negative one comes at you, okay? Then, now that you've narrowed your focus to 1 to 3 areas that you want to intentionally grow in, we're going to talk about tactics. What can you do to grow in that area? So, if you said you wanted to grow in the area of your spiritual health, maybe a tactic for you would be to commit to 30 minutes of prayer and 30 minutes of Bible reading per day. That's a pretty big commitment for some, but maybe that is something you would do. Maybe if you want to grow in the area of your physical health, maybe you would commit to only, 1 treat a day and 10,000 steps.
Well, I just
And
got put on medicine
accountable.
today to gain weight because I've been under
Oh, wow.
100 pounds for over a year. So my
Wow.
doctor was very mad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay.
that
So you,
health probably will be one of my
yeah.
areas.
Yep. So your tactics need to be, you need to add in more protein somehow, you
Yeah.
know? So whatever the area is that you want to brainstorm, whatever areas you want to grow in, you want to create some tactics, some practical things that you can do that you can actually implement to intentionally grow in those areas. And then after that, you're going to write goal 1, goal 2, goal 3. Now remember, we're not growing in more than 3 areas. You're going to pick 1, 2, or 3 at max, and you don't have to do 3. But you're going to pick those areas and then write down the different tactics that are going to help you to do that. And then we're going to break it down a little bit farther, and you're going to fill out this sheet. You know, what's one small obedient step I could take this week? What would I say to the old me? And who else needs to hear that? You know, these are kind of broad questions. Some of them are broad, some are big, but this is going to help you gain more clarity into who you are, what you believe about yourself, and where you're going. And so I know some of them seem, trust me, at the end of the 8 weeks, this is going to make a lot of sense. And then the next one is, what have I overcome that could help someone else? That's going to be an indicator to the purpose God has for you. When have I felt truly used by God? Again, that's a purpose one. What breaks my heart or stirs up holy discontent? That's purpose. What do others consistently come to me for? So all of those last 4 are all purpose. The first 2 are kind of helping you get clarity. And then here's the important step that I did not do last time I taught this, was schedule it. This is an important step. If you don't write it on a calendar, you're most likely not going to do it. If you don't actually look at your day and figure out where in your day this added thing is going to fit, you're not going to do it. So you have to plan it. You have to actually schedule time for the things that you said you were going to do. So right here where you have these tactics, you need to, down here, okay, when are you implementing these tactics? Pick out a day of the week, pick out a time of day, pick out how many days a week. Whatever you're going to do, this is where you're going to put your ideas to actually execute, to achieve the goals that you had set for yourself, okay? So you must plan. And that's the guide. That's it. So you guys all want to go. So you want to do this on your own. You want to fill out this whole thing. And then where we come into it next is what these meetings are for, okay? So this meeting took a little longer for me to set it up and explain where we're going. The rest of the meetings from here on out, the next 3, are all going to be focused on talking it out and holding one another accountable. So you're going to be actually sharing what challenges, opportunities, problems, or ideas you have been having. You're going to be sharing what you're working towards. And I'm going to give you a little hint. What you write on paper in your plan today may look totally different by the end of this because you're intentionally growing. And that's good. And that's okay. And it's okay if you had to divert your plan in the middle of this. The point is, as we meet together, you're going to get so much clarity when we give one another feedback. You're going to get clarity because whenever I force you to say out loud what it is that you're trying to do or what your goal is, and you actually have to say the things out loud and hear yourself say it, you're going to begin to get even more clarity on what it is that you're trying to do, or where it is that you're trying to go, or who you're trying to become. And then you're going to share what struggles you're having, challenges, opportunities, problems, or ideas. And then we're going to give one another feedback, okay? So let's go ahead and start here with the meeting 1 outline. And this will be kind of like more like what you're going to get for the next 3 meetings that we have. So this is just a cool little paragraph that I thought was so important from James Clear. The more control you have over your attention, the more control you have over your future. And it starts with having enough courage to protect your time. That kind of speaks to the boundaries that we did. It's so easy to say yes. We want to be agreeable, helpful, liked. That's how time disappears and attention becomes fragmented. Not in big chunks, but in 1,000 small concessions. What you trade your attention for is what your life becomes. I want you guys to just think on that. So the goal of each meeting will be accountability, problem solving, and clarity. Please come prepared to officially share the following, all right? So we're just going to get in and we're going to start sharing, okay? So I want to know any wins that you guys have had. I know that you haven't technically started yet, but surely you've had something in think about the last 7 days, the last week. What are some wins that you have had in your week? And let's just start there. What are some wins? I know for me, one of my wins in the last week was I completed an online, like just a short little ebook that I had been working on. So that was a win for me. I finished a thing that I set out to do. I got it done.
My win was my daughter got to successfully have a VBAC instead of a C-section, and it went
Oh,
very good. So
good.
we have
That's
been
good news.
praying hard for that.
Good.
I would say that one of mine is that my kids and I had a couple really good days where we just kind of hung out and we were able to get some games and stuff done and just have a good time. And there was not a lot of bickering between a couple of them that tend to bicker back and forth. And so I call that a huge win.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good. All right. So, what about I want to ask you this question and I'll give you a minute to think about it. What was the best hour you had in the last week? And why was it the best hour?
I'd say mine was yesterday. Went out with my kids for Phoenix's birthday, and they were all just really focused on her and making her happy, and they were laying themselves aside, and it was good to see them celebrate her without any jealousy or anything coming up on their part.
All right, good. And then, okay, so what was the best hour you had in the last week? Why was it the best? And then how can you repeat to have more of them? And you can just think on that one if you want to. But that's just looking at the best hour and why it was the best hour. And then the next step, how can I repeat to have more of those, you know? How about you, Stacy?
My best hour was holding both of my grandchildren, holding them both on my lap, and thanking God over and over for his beautiful creations. And I
Yep.
can just keep doing it and just thanking him because if it wasn't, I couldn't have him without him. It's just a beautiful creation. And the best part is I raised my 4 children without beating them sometimes and I get this reward now.
Yeah.
It's a miracle. I can't explain it. Grandchildren are truly the best part.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of mine. It's too much has happened. I have what did I do this weekend? Surely I did something great this weekend. I can't even remember my weekend, you guys. I seriously don't even remember my weekend. Oh, okay. I'm gonna share. Um, was it Sunday night? Sunday night. Sunday night, we went fishing, and my son, I was just kind of like following him around while he was fishing, and I was, reading him questions for his real estate exam. So I'm just tagging along while he's fishing, and I'm just reading him these questions and trying to put information in his head, right? And I have never seen this in my entire life. He caught 2 fish at one time. Like, it was crazy. I'm like, how is this happening? Like, he was reeling it in. He's like, what? And I'm like, what? And he's like, there's 2 fish on this hook. And I'm like, that's impossible. No, he totally caught 2 fish on one lure. I'm like, this is like got to be a first time this has ever happened in all of creation. And then my husband's like, oh no, I've done that before. I'm like, okay. So anyway, that was fun going outside and fishing and watching him have a great time. Okay, next. All right, let's go ahead and do the COPI. So think about, I know you haven't set your goals yet. You might have an idea around them. But let's think about challenges, opportunities, problems, and ideas around what you think you're working towards. You don't have to share one of each. You don't have to share a challenge, opportunity, problem, and idea. Just pick 1 or 2 things to say that you want to share about where you think you're going. And maybe even where you think maybe one of the goals that you think you might be working towards. You don't have to commit to it on this call, but let's just share one of the goals and then a challenge, opportunity, problem, or idea around that.
I know with the health challenge, I'm going to have a really hard time with gaining weight. It's just always been a real challenge for me, my weight. So I'm going to have to be in some deep prayer about that.
Okay.
I know it needs to happen because I have pass out spells and there's a lot with my health that needs to happen, but it's going to be a challenge. So I'm going to do it with
Yeah.
God's.
Yeah, and maybe you need to break it down. Maybe you need to set I don't know exactly what your days look like, but maybe you set different times of day where you're going to, at this time of day, I'm going to eat this snack. And maybe the night before or something, prepare the snacks that you're going to have throughout the day that might help you,
Because I'm not even hungry. It's not like
Yeah.
I don't try to eat. I'm just not hungry.
Yeah. Yeah. You
That's
just
why
got
he
to
gave me
schedule it in.
medicine to make me hungry to see if it'll work.
Yes. Yeah, schedule it
So,
in.
yeah, so it's just
I,
gonna have to be people are like, I
yeah.
wish I had your problem. No, you don't. You don't wish that on yourself. Don't say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's not a good problem.
All right. Well, yeah, maybe just, on your brainstorm time, think of some tactics, some ideas, some strategies of ways that you can make yourself instead of waiting until you're hungry. You're just going to schedule it in. Schedule it in and plan it out ahead of time. That way you make sure that there's nothing stopping you. There's nothing going to get in the way of the plan. Okay, Amber, how about you?
Couldn't get my thing to unmute. One of the things that I'm going to be working on is also going to be physical health, but I've been dealing with some physical health issues here over the last couple months, and I have insurance now, so that's a good thing because I haven't had it for over a year.
Oh,
And so I've been to the doctor. I've already started working towards this. And so just getting things back in line that have been off for a bit, because it has been causing some issues. And just getting, like I said, just working things out, and like you said, keeping things on track and just monitoring
yeah.
things throughout the day and just going with that.
All right. Yeah, I think this time around I am also going to be committing to health because I was doing really good there whenever I was healing from the heartburn. And I figured out that I had Oh, that muscle at the base of your esophagus, if it weakens, I forgot what it's called already. I had all the knowledge in my head, and it's like I quit and I completely fell off the bandwagon. Like I healed that muscle by doing a reset. I cut out sugar, I cut out caffeine, I cut out all of the things. I was eating food in the right order so that I could create natural energy in my body. So in the right order being protein first and then anything else after the protein. And I was doing so good, and I completely healed that to the point that all of the heartburn and all of the indigestion completely left. And then I slowly began reintroducing the sweets and even a soda and salsa and all of the things that I love that were contributing to it. And I've been in the clear the whole time. Like I've not had any issues. I've been a-okay. So I am confident that I healed that and I didn't do any permanent damage to my esophagus, like from all of that years of heartburn. But I like went way overboard on reintroducing the sweets, and now I'm on a complete junk food train, eating 2 things of ice cream a day and ridiculous amount of potato chips. And like I can feel it. I haven't been to the gym because I went on vacation. And so I went to Joplin for a week for work. The next week I went to Texas. So 2 weeks out of the gym got me out of my schedule. I'm not getting up and doing it. I put on the clothes today and I got up, but not as early as I had planned. And I went to town and I went straight to work and I skipped the gym. So like I got to the point of putting the clothes on. So I need to recommit to that because I cannot believe I just want to kick myself because I was doing so good. And then yesterday I came home and I was sugar crashing bad. Like I was like wanting caffeine because I'm like, I cannot stay awake. And I had gotten up extra early and I'm like, I know what this is. This is me not eating food in the right order and eating way too much junk that I'm not fueling my body the right way to keep sustained energy all throughout the day. And that's why I was crashing so bad. And I was having trouble holding my eyes open. I'm like, what am I going to do? So I'm going to recommit and get myself back on track because for me, it's all about, I want sustained energy and I don't want to ever experience that like debilitating, keeping you up at night. You can't even sleep, heartburn and acid reflux and it coming back up. Like I don't want to experience that again. So I need to keep myself healthy in that area. And obviously I need to be working out just for the sake of my heart more than anything. Like my doctor has told me since I was 18 years old that I need to be working out at minimum 3 days a week for 20 minutes a day, getting my heart rate up. And I didn't ever understand why he would tell me that. I was young, I was fit, I felt fine. Like I didn't get it until what I know now, that my heart legitimately needs to be healthy and it needs that exercise to stay healthy and to keep my body functioning properly. It's like, okay, I see what you're saying now. I do. And I have a higher than normal heart rate. My resting heart rate is usually at 90 or 100. So I didn't understand that whenever I was young. I didn't get it. I get it now. Like I shouldn't have that high of a resting heart rate, and it's because not being in shape. That's what does that. So so yeah, that's probably what I'm going to work on too. Does anybody have any other questions, comments, or anything else they want to say? Yeah, just sitting here in the car, you guys. I'm 102. 102. Just sitting here. Like that's not normal for people. So I don't think it's normal anyway. I don't know. Maybe it is. Who knows?
It's not.
I didn't think so. I try to tell myself that, oh, maybe it might be. There might be a lot of people. Um, we try to find validation in something. And if we're around the wrong people, they will validate us. I have found that out too, because also I have a very strong personality. So if I say something in a strong enough way, you will validate me whether you feel that way or not.
My resting heart rate's always really high too,
Is it?
but
Yeah.
my blood pressure is super low. So,
I don't know about mine. I don't ever check it. So,
well, I pass out, so that's why mine gets checked.
oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, make sure you fill out your form. And then when we meet again in 2 weeks, we will do more of the meeting outline and we'll go from there. And hopefully, we'll have some more ladies on. That way, we can give feedback to one another and ask each other questions about our goals. So be prepared next time to share what your goals are, what some tactics are that you came up with, and don't be afraid to ask for feedback on it, because that's what we're here for, is to give feedback and accountability. And then you're going to go ahead and start working on those goals. Okay, so you're going to fill out your plan, you're going to fill out your tactics, you're going to start working on those goals, and then when we meet again, you're going to share wins and struggles and how you did for the first 2 weeks. So, all right. Okay, I'll talk to y'all next time.
Okay,
Bye.
bye-bye.